It's amazing. Like, I used to kind of be scared of this before getting into this world.
Ableton.
Being in the position I am now that I'm like literally controlling the show.
Today, I'm here with my buddy Adam, who is currently touring with an artist named Freds, a French rapper based in my hometown, Montreal. So definitely a bit of a different style in the content that I usually do. I personally have a past life as a full-time session drummer, like a hired gun. The main takeaway from this video is the idea of, at least in most cases, having to adapt to what's demanded of you as a session touring professional serious drummer. So that means a drummer playing in a pop band, or I would say most bands at this point. A lot of the time just playing regular drum kit doesn't really like cut it anymore. Drum rack and Ableton, cueing songs, sounds, or maybe instruments from an album that's been released, maybe filling in certain instruments or parts to really make it sound like what people are expecting from what they hear maybe on a streaming platform. And then maybe surpassing that expectation with some sort of live instrument. So in the case of Adam, a live drum set. In this video, Adam gets into his fail-safe setup dealing with electronics along with live drums. So he's got 2 Ableton sessions running at once on 2 different laptops. Of course, I'm not going to spoil his whole explanation, so I'll let him talk about that. Before that though, a few ways of supporting this channel. I have an open Discord where we talk about actually not so much setups like this, more like full-on electronic music setups. Although of course you're invited to the Discord if you'd like to talk about this setup specifically. If you'd like to take it a step further, I also have a Patreon where I have a bunch of exclusive content, so exclusive videos, extended videos, discounts on products that I've released. Your extra support in that respect really does go a long way in helping keep this channel going. There are also affiliate links for the gear mentioned in this video, so if you end up using those links, I would actually make a small commission from that sale, which doesn't cost you anything extra. It's just, again, another way to support this channel. And so enough for me. I'll let Adam break down his setup in more detail for you.
So here we have an spd-sx, like most drummers have. Pretty much everyone has this now. We have the iConnectivity Play Audio 1U, which is like a redundancy playback audio interface, which basically means that it has like this built-in fail-safe option so that you run 2 sessions simultaneously, so that you have that extra layer of protection. So 2 USB-C adapters into each computer. I use the SPD as basically a MIDI controller that controls both sessions. Let's say I use this pad as a remote to go through each song, set list here. And as soon as I hit this, it switches on both sessions at the same time. You see? So as soon as I hit it, the song starts. This little light that's flashing, and there's like a little armor icon here next to the A. So here I have computer A. If I were to unplug this, or let's say there would be a crash live.
Right.
You unplug it and it automatically switches to computer B. As long as you have both sessions playing simultaneously, like same songs at the same time, it will automatically switch over like in milliseconds. No one will notice.
Okay.
And it's amazing, man. Honestly, when I first started with this project, I was using one laptop, and like I was a bit new to the using Ableton with tracks and all that. So there's always a bit of that stress, like what if the computer fails, or what if anything could happen, you know what I mean? And with electronics especially, so just having that extra kind of band-aid is nice.
Yeah.
So let's say that happens, right? It's on B's flashing, so that should be going, and then song finishes, I make sure like switch it back to A, and then it would go back to here.
Okay.
So playing whatever, and then if I unplug,
Seamless.
so now it's like, we didn't even hear a glitch or anything.
Nothing.
So that's when
impressive.
you would let the song end, obviously, because then if you would switch back to computer A while the song's playing, it would be like all mixed up. So cool. This thing's great, and I mean, especially with the USB host thing.
Yeah.
That lets my MIDI controller control anything, both at the same time.
Yeah, well, that's another question too. Is like, I remember having it. I honestly didn't use it that much, but you know, there's like effects and stuff. Like, do you ever go into that whole section, or is it just like specifically for samples and triggering?
Anything in the effect world for what I'm doing would be dealt with in Ableton, because nothing's coming out of the SPD itself. It's actually all coming out of Ableton.
Right.
This is just like the MIDI controller. But I mean, you can set, so you have 9 pads, but you can add like extra pedals and triggers as well. Like I had a kick trigger that was plugged into here. You can like put yourself a stop pedal that's basically just stop session. I basically use these 6 pads here as samples, whether it's a drum sample or like a sample directly from the track itself, like from the album. This is a remote that I use to trigger every song if I want to go back a few songs. If I want to go all the way, I mean, it doesn't trigger them, but if I want to go all the way back to the top and like trigger the intro, that would work. And I have a pad here, which we won't hear in this video, but this triggers his vocals. So if he forgets some vocals live, which happens to everyone, you know, and he's just kind of just like, it could mix him up or mix everyone up. So he'll turn to me and like point to the mic and like I'll just trigger the vocals in our ears so he can catch himself in like whatever verse or chorus we're in, you know.
Is there like an aspect of improvisation in the set? Like do you
For sure.
Oh, there is. So you don't just like go through the whole set like that?
Like in the middle of the songs, we kind of have to follow the structure, unless I would have to go into Ableton and kind of put some sort of extra bars in the song itself, in the tracks itself, to give us that. Let's say we wanted to improvise in the middle of a song, I'd have to go and add some extra bars for that. It's not really improv band, it's like pop French rap.
Right.
It's pretty much by the book, but we do have some moments where it's pretty improvised. So an outro or an intro.
Is it just him that you need things to be open for improvisation?
Mostly for this singer.
Okay.
When he's talking, so that there's no dead air.
Okay.
We like to always fill in the space. I'll trigger, let's say, a pad like this, which is just a synth triad.
Okay.
And he'll talk over this as long as he wants until he says like, okay, like, you know, thanks for being here. Like, here we go. And then I just trigger the next one. Or, so this just, I think it's 4 bars, and then he just talks over it and he says the thank yous. Like this can go on for like 3 minutes. This is a little kind of improv part where he'll talk, he'll say thank you, he'll introduce all the musicians. When he introduces like say drums or whatever, I'll do like a little drum thing or guitar solo will happen. And then once we stop, I trigger and now like the song starts.
Okay. And in terms of how you integrate the spd-sx for actual sounds, are you using the drum rack or anything like that?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You know, you add a drum rack into your song.
Right.
And you kind of drag either, I have actual drum samples from the record. I have some of my own drum samples from my own drum set that I've used.
Okay.
Here's like my SPD channel. And then so you have all the drum racks here that I've created. I mean, I have a real drum set for the most part. This one is one of the only songs where I just use the SPD. And even at that, at the end, I kind of kick in with the live drum set. If you go into the drum rack here, you see I have some stuff muted. Some hats, snare, some like trap hats. So I'm basically like playing kick with my real kick.
Okay.
What's cool about this session too is that I've done shows duo, like just me and him. Normally now we're a 4-piece, so guitar, bass, keyboard player, rapper, and me. But there are instances where it's a duo show or a trio show. So I can go activate all the piano tracks.
Right.
And go activate all this stuff that's missing. I have all the tracks, I have all the stems.
Okay. You've sort of like burrowed yourself in there.
I weirdly, yeah, like, I mean...
You're like an integral part of the band.
I found this on the web for your like an
Nice.
Siri, are you listening? Siri, stop listening to us.
Never. They never stop.
Never.
She never stops.
I never will stop.
Yeah, I mean, usually if there's a duo show, it's me that goes. It's amazing. Like, I used to kind of be scared of this before getting into this world.
Ableton.
Being in the position I am now that I'm like literally controlling the show myself, like with everything that I have. But I think it was good that I did, because nowadays the reality is you can't just be a drummer. You have to like learn how to adapt. That's what's great about this, is that I can adapt to different situations. You know?
The next thing Adam gets into is some more info on just how powerful of a touring tool the iConnectivity Play Audio 1U is. In particular for any touring or session player, maybe not even necessarily drummer. Before getting into that though, let's talk about today's sponsor, DistroKid. If you're checking out this video, maybe you're like a piece of the puzzle in a band, or maybe you're releasing your own music independently, in which case DistroKid is the best choice for you. Definitely the most affordable, and let's check out some other reasons why they're great. In terms of what's new, they recently released a smartphone app, which makes checking your important DistroKid stats Easy and accessible. The app is now available on Android through the Play Store. Essentially everything that you've been able to do on the DistroKid desktop app, you're now able to do through your smartphone. In today's day and age, we all know how many hats we have to wear as artists and producers. It can just be a lot, so write the music, produce the music. Then you've got to create content to promote it a few weeks before it's released. Then you've got to continue creating content after it's been released to promote it. It's a lot, and I'm not saying that DistroKid does all of this work for you, but they do make it a lot easier for us with the free promotional tools that they offer. The one I use most is Hyperfollow. It's essentially a free landing page or link tree. It's super clean. You could link maybe your latest video, your latest single, other important links you'd like to lead people to. I also use promo cards whenever I release a single. Just select the single that you would like to promote and it'll auto-generate a few different options for you to choose from. Go with DistroKid. It's just over $20 a year to release unlimited music to all major streaming platforms. You keep 100% of your streaming royalties. So many other tools that they offer for someone who's independent. They're made for us. And there is a discount linked in the description of this video if you would like to join.
What I love about this interface is that it's all XLR outs.
Yeah.
So you plug in directly out from the interface into whatever board or snake, right? Whereas before I had like a 1/4-inch snake, I'd always have to ask for like 8 or 6 DIs. And this is all like ground lifted and everything. So you don't have to do anything. You just plug and it sounds great. So I love that. It's so equipped for touring, like it's made for touring. It comes with 3 different power sources, one for the UK, one for Europe, and one for North America.
Wow.
In any sense, like you don't need a power converter when you go to Europe and stuff, which is amazing.
Amazing. Cool.
You know.